God said, write the vision and make it plain. And so we did. Let's go. Visions of love and relationships. Hard times felt your vibe like you were ready to dip. But the visions had us focused, so together we built a foundation based on God, trust, and honesty. And then we chopped it up on the boundaries. I never crossed those lines. You were part of me, on my knees, thanking God above. For sending such grace and shining His love. Butterflies at the thought of you. 18 years, let's make it 82. Hate on you, well then they hate me too. In deep thought, without you, what would I do? Visions of love, love, love. And I'm loving you.
What's up, visionaries? Welcome to another episode of Visions of Love and Relationships. I'm Tanya, and this is my wonderful husband. Oh my. And we hope everybody's doing well, as usual. Well, as you guys know, or you may not know, it's Mental Health Month. And with Mental Health Month in full swing, we're going to continue our journey of bringing awareness to our community. And in today's discussion, we want to discuss the effects of generational trauma in parenting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
And just in case you guys didn't catch the last video on generational trauma is referred to as trauma passed, psychological trauma and emotional trauma passed down from one generation to the next.
Mm-hmm. And generational trauma can be, in different factors, such as poverty. Some people might experience trauma from war, discrimination, and from abuse. Okay, and when the trauma is not addressed and not healed, it can be passed down through families and can also have a significant impact on relationships.
Mm-hmm. As we learned last week.
Yep, as we talked about last week. Yeah, did we talk about that last week?
Yeah, relationships.
Yeah, trauma. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. As we learned, last week, and we also talked about some parenting styles in another one of our videos. Yeah, just a tidbit. So make sure you check out that video.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So one of the effects of generational trauma in parenting is that just creates a cycle of dysfunction. And a lot of times when we get inside that cycle of dysfunction, we don't even know that our family is dysfunctional. Probably because we see a lot of other families that's like ours. Yeah. And they dysfunctional too. So we look at dysfunction as just as normal nowadays.
Right. And it is kind of normalized. I know. Yeah, growing up, what we were taught is what our parents was taught.
Yeah.
From what their parents was taught. And then we know that the times they change. Yeah. Times change.
Exactly that. So we watching a little series, the book of
Black
the book of Negroes.
Negroes, absolutely.
The book of Negroes, a little series. I think it's kind of old. So.
Yeah.
But anyway, like I said, just like we barely didn't know how to read. Our people didn't know how to read, so now when they didn't know how to read, so then they learn how to read, then they passing down bits and pieces of literature or just bits and pieces of knowledge down to us. But one thing that we haven't been taught, that what we should be taught, is how to parent or how to get in relationships. Some of the things that they should be teaching in schools, that most people, you're going to get in a relationship. You probably more likely you're going to have a kid. Yeah. This kind of stuff we should be teaching instead of we just passing down dysfunctional families and dysfunctional style of parenting and relationships that we're not able to cope with when we do have kids.
Right. And you know what? I know that us blacks couldn't read. Some of us could read. But thinking about how that was passed down, when we didn't know how to read, it could be a lot of misinformation.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we might have could read, but did we understand it?
Yeah, a lot of stuff was probably passed down towards words. And, in school, I remember the little skit that they did when they would say a word, and you see how misconstrued that word got to by the time it got to the end of the little class. Stuff. Yeah, it's always misconstrued. So no matter all the information, if if it's like passed down towards like words like do good in school or little words, then it's always gonna be misconstrued, especially when we passing down like words of wisdom through one generation to the next.
Another, yeah. It's always
without action.
That's an actually good point. And parents who experience trauma struggle with emotional regulations, communication, and setting healthy boundaries. And we know that setting healthy boundaries is a must for any kind of relationship to survive. Okay.
And they might also like suffer with they feel like attachment styles. They're not able to fully attach and put their emotions in raising kids. Because they feel they still have like abandonment issues or neglect issues that they not having dealt with passed down from either or their mama. They dealing with issues that their mama passed to them, like they was neglected as a child. So they like, well, I was neglected as a child from trauma that my mama dealt with, and they having kids now. We passing down trauma that we haven't dealt with to the next kids, and we raising kids with insecure and emotional, not
but we'll
ready
definitely
to
get into that. We'll get into that because that's actually a style of parenting. But children who are raised by parents who have experienced trauma may also be more susceptible susceptible to mental health issues such as anxiety, depression, and PTSD.
PTSD. And I was just looking at the statistic board. They say that the second leading cause of death. The second leading cause of death in kids aged 15 to 19 is suicide.
Oh man.
And
These days,
yeah. The second leading cause of death is suicide, by kids not being able to emotionally handle the stress of the day and night. And the first leading cause of kids aged 14 to 15 is suicide. That's the number one cause of death of kids aged 14 to 15 is suicide. And the second leading cause of death of kids aged 15 to 19 is suicide. Yeah. So that means this kid just not able to cope with their trauma.
Right. And not only the trauma, they can't cope with trying to keep up with society.
Yeah, and the stress and all the social media stuff.
Yeah. Really the way society is today.
And the way that more like our parents, because the parents, we didn't deal with trauma. We don't know how to emotionally support kids like that. And not the new age kids.
Right, but we do play a big part when we're not monitoring, some of the things that our children are doing on social media or, talking to them about, the look. The look is just the look, baby. A lot of these people don't even got what they saying they got. A lot of these people don't even do what they saying they do, so don't let it fool you. It's just like a movie. It's camera tricks.
Like I said, not going too deep in it, but it's because, they actually, a lot of times the kids, they just seeing their mama act out the adult version of a child. Yeah. So their mama, or they did it, they doing the same. Mom and daddy, a lot of times the kids, they be doing the same. They see their parents all on Facebook trying to go for likes, and they getting all made up trying to just to take pictures online to get some likes and stuff. So they looking at them as that. So by the time they get up there, they already stressed out. By the time they become of age, like the 12, 11-year-old, by the time they become of age, 15 to 16 or 14 as we see, then they done already built up all this emotional stress, and they don't know how to cope with it. Yeah. And us as parents, we are not built with the tools to help them cope with it.
But and plus, it's also children being brought from the womb to the internet. So they're taught how to pose for the internet. They're taught that to be something you gotta, be on the internet dancing and different things like being of this world.
They taught they kind of taught to seek out
this is what it is. Smile, baby. This is what it is. I ain't knocking nobody that do that, but we got to be mindful of what we're putting our children in front of and what we allow our children to do.
Because a lot of times it's really sad thing is, but it's really just kids raising kids. Older kids raising younger kids.
Yeah, and that's the truth.
Like I said, A lot of people parent from the childish version of adult that we put together as a child and we bring to adult life.
Yeah.
So, however, important though is generational trauma parenting does not have to be a life sentence, man.
Nah.
Number one thing is, guys, what we need to do is we just need to be aware. Sometimes we need to acknowledge where we are. We need to acknowledge that we need help, and we didn't have it. A lot of people, I mean, you know, if you're a family or you was raised in a dysfunctional family, you know, if you passing down a cycle of dysfunction. And we actually got a worksheet that we're going to give you guys access to at the end of this webinar. If you watch the beginning of this
video,
and it's family patterns, so you can go inside and maybe you can discuss with your partner, or you can discuss with your family or something, just the family patterns that you grew up in, like parenting styles, like relationships, some of the things that we learned from our parents that we brought, that we might not know. Well, if we seen our parents do it, a lot of times we unconsciously bring it into our everyday lives, relationships and parenting.
Yeah, so what better way to sit down and, you know, do a worksheet or something on that
talk about it,
figure out what it is that, you know, we bring it in there to be aware of what we're actually bringing into our relationship and parenting style.
And break the cycle of dysfunction and create a healthy, more positive environment for the kids that we see out here going crazy in these streets, man. They're going crazy.
Yeah, and some of the ways that we can help is to, you know, put our children in therapy, put ourselves in therapy, first off, if we need it. Have a support group and other forms of self-care. We know that in our Black community, therapy was, again, never talked about. If you was crazy or something, if you went to a therapist, like it wasn't the cool thing to do, so to speak. But that's missing. That's a missing piece in our Black communities growing up, you know.
And self-care, like I say, we so busy, we caring about everything on the outside, but we forget to care about the matters of the heart, and care about our inner being. And when we're not healing inside, then we project that in our parenting, we project that in our relationships, we project that in our lifestyle that we so-called trying to live, but we live from a wounded state.
Right.
And like I said, sometimes we just really gotta just be aware of where we living at. What are we living with past trauma, or are we living whole? And we know that only person know that is us.
Absolutely. And with that said, generational trauma in parenting can have a significant impact on families. Okay, but with awareness and education, we can all heal from that trauma and create that healthy environment for our children and for ourselves.
So let's take a look at some of the parenting styles that can be affected by trauma. Let me keep calling too.
What? One of the kids. Yeah, I see it. Okay.
We'll call them back.
Yeah.
So, parenting style.
Yes, authoritarian parenting is the first style, which involves strict rules and punishments. Can be a common response to trauma.
Yeah.
Parents may feel the need to maintain control or discipline to prevent further harm. However, this parenting style can lead to a lack of emotional support and communication, and perpetuate the trauma cycle.
That's true. Authoritative parenting.
Yep. So is that? I think you were.
No,
authoritative. No,
I am in the mix, but my standard is low. But
right, but
this
not,
new generation, these kids, they standard is lower.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm not authoritarian. I'm a mix of authority and permission, because I got emotional side, but you're gonna come correct, man.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't with. I'm a smart parent.
Right.
See, some people every parent is not smart. Kids be smarter than them. I'm a smart parent though.
Yeah, you are.
I'm informed.
Yes, you are. And an example of an authoritarian parent is a parent with a style that uses phrases like "because I said so."
Yeah, I do that.
Yeah. May have strict rules and harsh punishments. For example, a child may be grounded for a month for breaking a small rule.
This new generation of kids, they are stubborn. So I feel the new parents, man. These kids, they think they know everything, man.
Yeah.
And it's partially because they got the internet. They're looking at so much stuff, so they like, I got a phone now. I got internet.
Right.
I know everything.
Which all fall back to
the parents.
parenting. Yeah.
I think we
cause why you 3 with a phone?
Yeah. I think we so quick that we don't. I don't think we as parents we realize how much damage this phone does to kids, man. Like I said, I just don't think we realize how much this phone is a lot. And the kid get this too much technology in his head, it's like it's information overload. Even with a little kid, when they start kids 3 and 4 years old, they all zoomed in on the little phone watching cartoons and stuff. I know the parents be doing that to help occupy the kid while they're in the grocery store and stuff. But our parents didn't have to give us no phone. We went in the grocery store. They said, shut up and don't touch that.
Right. And we did.
We did.
Oh boy, okay. So next we got permissive parenting, which involves a lack of rules and boundaries. Why are you looking at me? A lack of rules and boundaries can also be a response to trauma. Okay, parents may struggle with emotional regulation and may avoid conflict to prevent triggering past trauma. However, this parenting style can lead to a lack of structure and accountability and perpetuate the cycle of trauma.
Back over.
So you think I'm a permissive parent? I can see some of that, that I do.
Boundaries,
yeah, I would say I'm not really, not holding them too accountable.
Mm-hmm.
An example of permissive parenting would be, a parent that may be very lenient with rules, may avoid conflict, sounds like me. For example, a child may be allowed to eat whatever they want and stay up as late as they want without any limits or consequences. Now that ain't me. You can't eat whatever you want and you can't stay up as late as you want.
But like I said, I think this parenting style right here, the permissive parenting style, I think is more or less a lot of
the
parents.
Permissive, yeah.
I think this right here will be the ones that a lot of parents, they just so tuned out, and they living their own life. The kids like I'm living my life, you living your life. They might feed the base. A lot of parents do the basic necessities: feed, clothe, and shelter. Mm-hmm. And half that's probably provided. But
and sometimes the parent kind of feel like, okay, say it's a single parent home. If they lacking attention from their father or from their mother, then that permissive parent tries to make up for it. And they feel like they kind of own something. Like they missing something. So you want to take over, you want to allow.
Yeah, if they was like with a strict and they didn't have that. So like I said, I said they was strict and they grew up in a strict house and they didn't have that they had too much strictness, then they probably would. I'm gonna let my kid be loose, be free, and be themselves. Yeah. And that does result in a parent with no regulation, no boundaries for the kids. Mm-hmm. I mean, sometimes they might turn out, sometimes they won't.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. The next style of parenting is neglectful parenting, which involves a lack of emotional and physical support. Yeah. Neglectful parenting is just what it says, though. It can be a result of a parent who's struggling with their own trauma. The parenting style can have a lasting impact on children who may struggle with feelings of abandonment and neglect. Okay? Yeah. So, for example, neglected parenting is a parent with emotional or physical absence. So they emotional and physically absent and may not provide a child with the basic needs, such as food, clothing, or shelter. For example, a child may be left alone for long periods of time without any supervision or support.
Yeah, this is the opposite of permissive parent. They provide the basic necessities, but they let their kids so loose. Right. They got no rules, got no boundaries, got no regulations.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's pretty much neglect. So
yeah, it is. None of these styles of parenting is good, and I'm sure a lot of us can relate to it. We probably parent. So like I said, comment wherever you see this video at. What type of style of parenting that you may be involved in, man. What type of style of parenting do you?
It's definitely, you definitely have to identify the type of parent you are.
Awareness awareness is the first step.
So
of
you
change.
can be aware and heal, or and just know where you're lacking or where you over doing it at, to help your child.
And or now, like I said, we got another breed coming up, so this might be to help the next generation. So like I said, this might not be for you to help your child, because we got older kids.
Mm-hmm.
Our kids is old and they pretty much grown. So we don't really have to do the parental thing no more.
Yeah, but we're here to help. Yeah.
But I mean, but the next generation is the ones that's really going to count, because our kids is dealing with what we taught them,
right,
and our trauma that we did. So they parenting off that was probably a little worse than the generation before us.
Oh man. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, our age people. I mean, that's the people I'm talking to. They messed up in the game.
Yeah.
They got more trauma that they dealing with that we not able to cope with.
Yeah.
Why? Because we got more distractions. They didn't have all these distractions.
Yeah.
Now we got this distraction. Now we looking at everybody else. We see everybody else and look like they living such a happy lifestyle, and we dealing with the inner demon within us.
Yeah, and projecting. Onto our children.
And they still see, even adults children, they still see us function. So they still picking up bits and pieces of us. Now they got their own lifestyle and their own way of dealing with life, and they picking up that. So they habit stacking bad habits.
Yeah.
That's the crazy thing. We habit stacking kids, and we keep habit stacking bad habits. So I think we need to change that. Number one, be aware.
Yeah, and we can change it, y'all. All right. So we also have an authoritative parent.
Mm-hmm. Authoritative parent is a parent with a style of balance, structure, emotional support, and they work with their child to set clear expectations and boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
An example of a child may be allowing them to stay in their bed routine, but is expected to follow the set routine every night.
Mm-hmm.
This parent will be openly and hearing the child's thoughts and feelings, and still set limits and boundaries for their safety and well-being. See, I actually, that's me.
Too,
like I said, I'm there, but you're not. See,
I'm there too. I'm just.
like I said, I got expectations about it, and I listen to you, but you gotta come correct though. That's the thing. I'm not a bullshit slow parent.
You are authoritarian, authoritative.
there you go. I mean, I'm not a bullshit parent. You just gotta come correct.
Yeah.
don't come with no bull childish game. You come child. I'm just helicopter parent. The next one.
Yep. Next is the helicopter parent. He looks at me. Am I a helicopter too?
I don't know.
I'm a permissive helicopter.
Well, we're gonna read what a helicopter parent is, and then you decide. It's on us. Everybody, it's on you to decide what kind of parent. I mean, because only you know. We can't tell. Only you know, and your kids know.
But be real with yourself, so that you can recognize what type, and then fix the issue.
Yeah.
All right, so a helicopter parent is another style, and the parenting is characterized by over-involvement and over-protection. A helicopter parent consistently hoovers over their child, and, they're overly involved in their day-to-day activities. For example, a parent may call their child teacher multiple times a day to check on their progress, or may insist on accompanying their child on an outing, even when the child is a teenager. Mm-hmm. I've seen these parents. I'm not a helicopter.
So they would.
They want to go on an outing at school with the teenage child.
Mom.
Or dad. I mean, dads too. Dads helicopters. Yeah. And these are the types of parenting styles.
Yep. And these parenting styles can be motivated by our desire to just protect our kids, man, from harm, from failures. But this can lead to feeling of overwhelm and anxiety and lack of independence from the kids.
Yep. It's important for parents to strike balance between being involved and being overbearing.
Yeah, there's
to help the child. To help the child develop the necessary life skills and become a successful and confident adult. So, if you're a helicopter, it's important to land that helicopter.
Yeah.
Land it.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Visionaries, not guys. It's also important for you to know that parenting styles are not exclusive to those who have experienced trauma. Yeah. Everybody has, a parenting style. Just Everybody might not have trauma.
Yeah, everybody don't have trauma. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, and also note that every family is different. However, understanding the impact of trauma on parenting styles can help us create awareness and promote healing. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to promote healing.
Yeah, or just more or less promote awareness.
Yeah, and healing.
Yeah, but
awareness so that you can heal. Because without awareness, you don't know what's going on.
Because a lot of times we just scared to just face the music and just to really call it like it is. Not only that, we're just not aware of like what we're dealing with. We don't want it. We're emotionally detached
it's
from our feelings. It's
kind of like you don't know what you don't know in some instances. You know. Mm-hmm. Okay, so in conclusion, generational trauma can have a significant impact on parenting styles, but it is possible to break the cycle, okay? Break the cycle of dysfunction and create a healthy environment for families by seeking help. Mm-hmm. And like my husband said, by being aware.
Awareness, man. So like I said, below us, like I said, wherever you see this video, we're going to put the worksheet, and this worksheet is also inside our book. Mm-hmm. If you can go get it on Amazon, go get it on Amazon. Mm-hmm. We got the Audible hardback and the paperback. Not Audible.
We got the Audible in progress.
Yeah, because we know that people don't like to read. Yeah. But even though reading is the gateway to, books is the gateway to knowledge, man. And knowledge is the gateway to the money. Yeah. I don't know what you're looking for, so check out the book on Amazon. But like I said, we're going to drop the link below us with a worksheet for you guys. It's called Family Patterns, and it's actually one of the first worksheets in our book. If you get the book, you can get it for free, or go to Amazon and look at it. You can actually scan it in there for free. Mm-hmm. And Family Patterns, so you can fill it out.
But don't go to Amazon and scan it for free. At least get the
get the book. It's 99 cents on Kindle right now.
Yeah, that's 99 cents.
You get Kindle free if you got Kindle. You get it free.
You get it free, yeah.
So check us out. Thanks for the support. And like I said, the worksheet got the family patterns, and you'll be able to fill it out and just talk about it with your people, talk about it with your partner, talk about it with your kids. Talk about the family patterns. How your parents' parenting style, relationships, some of the things that you learned from your parents about growing up.
You can even do it with your mom or dad.
Yeah, you know what? That actually would be good.
Yeah,
but I don't know. A lot of people just don't want to talk about it. A lot of people
That's true, but a lot of people can even, your parents can discover some stuff.
Yeah, so you might, but a lot of parents, it don't work out, but I know a lot of parents, they just scared to face the music. Yeah. They just don't want to talk. They don't want to talk about it. We don't want to talk about it's in the past. It's in the past, but it's not in the past. It's still here and it's still affecting kids because
affect the kids.
Yeah, because we keep doing that band-aid stuff like it's in the past. Don't talk about it. Put it away. Put it in the bush. We need to talk about it, guys. Mental health is a serious issue, guys. So that's why we're doing this video. That's why we're trying to bring awareness to it, because we know if we can get the help, then we can go out here and we can stop all this conflict and chaos out here on the streets that these kids have, where they don't know how to talk. They don't know how to emotionally show their emotions. All their emotions is show with anger.
And don't get it twisted. This is for every race, every color, but we're bringing more awareness to our community because we are so naive and kind of dumb to it, just to be real. We kind of dumb to what trauma is, generational trauma, and how to, seek help. And, we don't know. So we're going to bring awareness. And they had vision. And so
together, they created a life that they love.
Yeah, go out there and build.
See you in the next one.